Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here in Erlengrat. On the game, so if it is still that set amount, then we could go and make a decent bit of money. There is one thing I'm going to do before I commit to buying that biogas plant, and because we can sell silage up over this other way, it's not something that needs to be quite such an issue as it might have been previously. Like, beforehand, I was thinking, I'm not really sure about this, because the... I would have had to do it anyway, and that's getting the silage from the trailer into the biogas plant. Now, some of them, like Estancia Lapacho, you back the trailer up and you tip it out. Others, you've got to lift it up. So the only way to do that, obviously, is with a loader. So we'd have to take the silage, tip it out there somewhere, and then lift it up into the air with some kind of loader in order to unload it. And I don't think the milling machine can actually do that. So we can't take the milling machine with us and tip it out there. So that's not really an option. But, I mean, it's going to be our first attempt. Is we'll load with the milling machine at our place, and then we would take it over there. But I don't know what the prices are. I kind of want to, like, experiment with this a little bit. So anyway, first up, let's do this. 16,526 litres of canola, and we have got currently on offer at the grain mill. There we go. Grain mill is 545 per 1,000 litres, which, that's not bad. So we'll tip all of this in, and we will see how much we get. 10,000 litres still to go. 7. About 3,500, I think that was. We got 2,500 litres of grain for selling. That contract on field 25 is now complete, so we can go there. We can complete that one, collect. I do lose a little bit of money on there, so we can collect that one as well. Fertilizer, I've got one fertilizer job at the moment. There's all these weeding jobs, and then there's a load of sowing jobs. 98,900. I got an idea here. I want to do something. Right, I'm going to go with this. I probably should have started over the other side. I need to go and check. You know what? We don't want to do it like that. We'll just go here. Visit. Biogas plant. That's where you'd expect to tip it in. I'm really not sure if we can tip it on the ground in front of this or not. That's... I'll be honest, that looks risky. That looks like it's expecting us to tip it in with a front loader. I'm deeply, deeply concerned about this. That does look like I'm expected to tip it in with the front loader. That has me worried. I don't know what to do. I'm genuinely at a crossroads in my life right now, and I don't know what to do. I think one thing that we could do is I could go and start planting field 11 with potatoes. I've got these weeding jobs that I can go and take. We could set a few of those going as a little tiny bit of money that we'll get for these as 3, 4, 6, 17 and 18. So we got 3, 4 and 6. That's those there. Field 5 isn't coming up, but 3, 4, 6... and then 17 and 18 down here. I think we'll take all of those and we'll get those going first. If we'll rush off with them and get them underway. And then there's other sowing jobs as well. We could get field 11 underway. I mean, what we can do is we can accept, like field 8. I actually want to accept that one and then remove it so that we don't have to harvest that field. I want to persuade Rudy Kawila that he doesn't want to plant potatoes. He wants to plant something else. Right. We are going to... for these, we're going to have to borrow items. So the little Fent one is field 3. There's another Fent that's... Okay, so we're going to hook these up one at a time. So this one here is field 3. Actually, they'll be in line, won't they? All right, field 3. Field 4, borrow items. Field 6, borrow items. Okay, so I've got 3 of these lined up for a minute. We can borrow these items. So we got 3, 4, and 6. I'll take this one here first. Put that one in there. On through there. We've got we've got a little bit of a run to go and take them up to where they're going to be working. We're going to have to go out this side, go on round. It won't take all that long to get them up there to their necessary fields. Ooh, steady. So we're at 3, 4, and 6 to start off with. The slightly frustrating thing about these jobs is that the tractors... I mean, they're not bad, these tractors, but it still takes a minute or two to get to each of the locations. Actually, you know what? The better place for us to go, rather than going this way that I've just gone, because we got to end up going along that top road, we'd have been better off going out of the dealership and turning right... out the front entrance, then turn left at the roundabout, go across, and then we'd be coming along that road at the top there. I think that would have been faster. That would have been the better option. I don't know why I didn't do that. So 3, 4, and 6. So it's this one just up here for this first tractor. So 4 and 6, we can go out that way that I just described. And then the other 2, I mean, they're down the bottom end anyway, so they don't really matter. So 3 is this one here. The other one is right next to it. And then 6 is over the other side of the road. It's a nice, easy one to get to as well, so it's not like it's going to be any terrible hardship for us. So, you... I was kind of wondering if I wanted to manually do... I don't want to manually do very much. I forgot how slow these things are, so we will manually run our way down to the end of the field down here. And then the hired help is going to carry on and do everything else, because I've got no intention of sitting here and doing masses and masses of this, because, quite frankly, this is a really, really tedious job. This is a bit like the whole using the flamethrower weeder that I got to use once. The guy who owned the organic farm that I was working on, he's like, we got a flamethrower coming in to go and use on here. You had to go slower than this. And he lit a gas flame underneath this big piece of steel. It kind of looked like a topper, you know, the big sort of square with the skids down the sides. It looked a bit like that. And then the flames on it were all underneath. You didn't see any flames at all. You just sort of slowly crawled up across the field. It was the single most disappointing machine I have ever used. I was bitterly disappointed with that thing, and I will never fall for such nonsense again. It was all in the hype. That's what it was. I fell for the hype. I freely admit that I did fall for the hype on that one, and yeah, I'm bitterly ashamed that I did actually do that. I mean, I thought that I was above falling for the hype, but apparently I was not, and I fell for it hook, line, and sinker. Next time, I won't though. Next time someone says, oh, would you like to operate this flamethrower? That's going to be a strong, firm no from me. At least it is if it's a flamethrower for working within a field. If it's the other type of flamethrower, I could be tempted. I will freely admit that I could be tempted. You know, it obviously I don't really want to go around and use the flamethrower against other people so much, but I reckon a flamethrower could be a bit of fun. You know, just have a little go with one of those. A proper one where you actually get to see the flames coming out of it instead of just staring at a square box that has got nothing. And you're just crawling along the field at one of the slowest rates that you've ever done anything in a field at, because that's the speed you need to go at in order for the weeds to be singed off. And you can't go over, you've got to be very careful going over the headlands, because then you end up burning the the actual crop that's coming through, that's supposed to be more resilient to the flames because it's more established. So the flame does sort of singe it a little bit, but it doesn't knock it back too much. And the kind of the issue arises when you get onto the headland, because you're then going over the crop, you know, a couple of times. I will confess that by the end of when I was getting towards the end of that field, I really didn't care. I really didn't care. I wasn't being very careful about shutting the machine off at the end of the row. Well, not shutting it off, just lifting it up in the air so that the flames weren't burning anything that they shouldn't be. You had to like time it really carefully. I may not have been entirely careful with it. I think there were a few singed patches that did knock the crop back a little tiny bit, but yeah, I was feeling pretty hard done by that point, because he came along as well, and then he got into the cab and we drove once across the field, and he said, "This is really boring, I'll let you carry on with this." And that's where I lost my passion for that particular job. That's the kind of thing that could make anybody lose their passion for their work. Now, I'm going to set you going on this side, I think. We'll just set you going right there. If I lower you down and move you into the crop a little bit, and then off you trot. Right, so there's number 2. Now we need to get you out to field number 6. There are 2 others that we're going to want to get going as well, which is 17 and 18. That's another couple of weeding jobs. Yes, I know we are ticking money downwards using the hired help all the time for these jobs, but that is actually worth it. And it is something that does tend to happen when you employ a lot of people. You pay wages out. I get comments every now and then about, "Oh my god, I can't believe you are doing this with hired help. That's cheating, man. This is supposed to be hardcore. It's cheating using hired help." Can you please explain to me how using a mechanic that's built into the game is cheating? And can you please explain to me, how do you intend to drive 3 tractors at once? Anyone who thinks, that genuinely believes that I'm cheating by getting hired help do these jobs, how do you get 3 tractors running at once if you don't use hired help? Just out of curiosity, because this isn't multiplayer, this is single player. So on a single player game, how do you get 3 tractors running at once? Because we're simulating a contracting company here, and no contracting company I have ever seen in action, or worked for that matter, has ever done it with a one-man operating 3 tractors policy. I'm not sure how you'd even do that, because we don't have... Yes, there are robotic tractors these days, but they're not that good. Not that good yet. They still rely on actual humans to drive some of these machines. So, please, I'm all ears. I'm not going to just immediately dismiss you. If you genuinely believe that using hired help is cheating and it's not hardcore, and I shouldn't be calling this hardcore because it's just cheating and it's disgusting and I'm never watching you again. If you did actually come back to watch me again, just explain, without swearing, I might add, because otherwise your comment will get deleted. YouTube does it. Like, it's beyond my control now. YouTube just automatically deletes these comments with lots of swearing in them. It's nothing to do with me at all. Please explain, in simple terms, so that a fool like me can easily understand, how do you get 3 tractors running at once without using any hired help? I'm happy to wait for your explanation on that one. Somehow I don't think that explanation is ever going to turn up. And no, courseplay does not count. Courseplay is the same as using hired help. Courseplay is hired help. Courseplay is just more complicated hired help. Here, I actually prefer to not use that one. I actually like to have my hired help just, you know, get on with their work, rather than me having to program in a computer beforehand in order to tell them exactly what to do, because that doesn't seem right. So anyway, there we've got 3 of them working in the field. I have got 3 hired helps all working together in the field. It's quite amazing. And we're then going to go to here. We're going to go weeding 17. We're going to borrow items. We're going to go to weeding 18. And we're going to borrow items on that one as well. So I want to go there. That's 18. That's 70. I'm going to take 17 out first, because that's the first one in the queue. And I'm going to take 18, and that one's going to go off. And I'm going to come back, and we've got a fertilizer job that we can consider, and that one's fairly close by. I think that one is that fertilizer job the one? Yeah, that's field 19. That one's right there. I've got a little tiny tractor that could do that job. I didn't really want to be using the tiny tractor very much more for doing jobs, but considering that the job is right next to the dealership, I don't think it would be out of the way for our tiny tractor to go and do that one, because it's not got very far, and then when I want to reload with fertilizer, the fertilizer's right next to the tiny tractor. So it's a fairly easy thing for us to go and do. So I do feel that that might be acceptable. Field 17 is actually down the end of here. It's not just at the end of 14. I've got to go on a bit further. So I'm going to have to go out on the road over this way. It's not like it was at harvest time. Less forgiving now that we've gone past the harvest. So we can't just go down and cut across their fields or go around the edges. We've got to stick to the roads. Harvest time, everybody's happy. Everybody is happy to let me go and use all the shortcuts that I want to, because I'm also harvesting their fields, and I make quite a point of just letting them know that if they're going to be difficult about me going around their fields in order to get the other jobs harvested, because I have to do it in the order that it's ripened in the field. I can't start one job and then abandon that halfway through to go to a different farmer. It doesn't work like that. You get done in the order that it ripens in the field. So if you're going to be difficult and make the current harvest job take longer than it already needs to, you may find that your harvest is not harvested at the optimal time. It may go a little bit overripe. And the problem with it going past the point, I know it doesn't always happen, but it can. The grains shrivel a little bit. You want the grains perfect. You want to get them at just the right time. So yes, you want to wait until they're ripe, so the moisture content is down. But then they can go too much the other way. They can get a little bit too dry. They can shrivel up a bit, and that's not very good either. I've never really seen it being done in this country, but I mean, I've heard of it being done in this country, but what I've heard of a lot more is in other countries. It's quite common for grain to be harvested where it's actually a little bit too dry, and rather than putting the grain through dryers before it's sold, it's actually put through a mister, and it's actually had a mist of water sprayed across it in order to keep it in order to sort of dampen it just ever so slightly and bring the moisture content of the grain up a bit. Which genuinely surprised me the first time I ever heard of such a thing. I thought that might have made the grain go mouldy, but apparently it's very, very well controlled and so on, and it does actually work quite well. So I'm just going to take your word for that one and assume that everything is all tickety-boo when you go and do that. I love this tractor, by the way. I absolutely love the Linden tractor with the rear wheel steer on it. I think it's brilliant. This is a proper hillside tractor, this one. You put the double wheels on this one, it looks amazing. So we're going to take this one here, and I believe this is the field 18 just over there. I'm going to have to go around the bottom end of field 19 in order to gain access to that one. And then we can go and have a look at the fertilizer job for here on field 19. And the fertilizer job, yes, we've got all of these other ones running at the moment, and they will give us a little bit of cash. But the one that's really going to pay, the one that's really going to give us the money, is going to be the fertilizer job here on field 19. That one, fertilizer jobs always pay. They are the bee's knees when it comes to gaining a bit of cash. If I go on up here, I don't think I need to actually worry about doing a parcel. No, I don't need to. There's plenty of room. Yeah, there's loads of room there for turning around. I do want to do, though, a pass down this side, down here. We've got potatoes planted in here, and I've got 2 other jobs. We've got field 11 is going to be potatoes, and field 8, they want us to plant potatoes over there as well. So we've actually got several jobs coming up that are going to be potato jobs when it comes to our next harvest. Contract on field 6 just came up as finished. There's 1 weeding job finished. That was the smallest field of them all. Just watching this one go along. I love this tractor. He also looks nice and tractorish as well. Like some tractors, they look a bit delicate. They don't sort of look very good. This one, he's wide, he's squat. He looks like a tractor with attitude, this one does. This, oops, I don't want to fold it. This looks like a tractor that won't take any nonsense from anyone. This is one of those sorts of tractors that will just be able to keep going and keep doing any task that is put in front of it, and it won't think twice about it. It will just keep doing all the work without any problems whatsoever. Let's go up there, and off you go. I have had people say in the comments before now that they've driven one of these. They've been fortunate enough to actually have one of these and have go with one in real life, and they've said that it is a really, really sweet ride. It is a sweet, sweet ride. So it does appear that they could be as good as they appear. It does appear that they could be as good as they appear. Field 6 is done. This one over here is almost done. What I'm actually going to do with this one is I'm going to bring him over to this side of the field. Put you down there, and you'll just do 1 bit in there and then head off. And then field 3 has got quite a bit to go yet. So I got 1 weeding job right there on field 3. 1 weeding job right there on field 4, which is almost done. And the weeding job here on field 6, that is finished. I got the weeding job down here on field 17. That one's coming along very nicely. And then I've got the weeding job here now on field 18, and that one's coming along nicely as well. So we're next going to switch over to our little tractor. I'm going to get the fertilizer spreader that I've got over there, and I'm going to accept the field 19 contract. Just there, 4,600, and that one I'm just going to accept contract like that. Back up a bit and grab this fertilizer here. Need to get into field 19, which is easily done. That's not going to be any kind of an issue for us, so we can hook that one up on there. About half a tank at the moment. Half a spreader full. So we'll go here, we'll go just across the bridge right there and into town, and then I'm actually going to do... I'm not going to load up the fertilizer yet, because I don't think 1 spreader load is going to be enough to be able to do all of the stuff over here. Anyway, contract on field 4 has finished. There's 2 contracts done, and there is the train. Barrier down and whoosh, smash. Like, if we were a little bit further forward, because this thing's like driving Miss Daisy, see how far he's going? He was never that far away when it started coming down. Like, we didn't have that much warning. And this is what I don't like about those trains. I want those trains to be fixed in the next version of this game. Hear that, Giants? If you're listening to me, if you're watching my videos enthusiastically every single day, I'd like you to fix the trains, please. I don't like the way that the timing on those trains. The timing is wrong. It is absolutely wrong. The timing should not be like that. You don't have enough warning to be able to get out of the way of the trains, and therefore they end up causing you to have accidents. Now, I don't know if that was some sort of joke that was done deliberately by the developers. It could very well have been. They could just decided to... I mean, maybe, you know, it's a bit like, you know, people these days, they like this salted caramel, you know, it's sweet and salty all at the same time, and to me it's an abomination, and it should never have been given a green light. It should never see the light of day. It's an absolute abomination. It's a crime against nature. But some people do actually seem to like this whole salted caramel malarkey. And I'm wondering if the devs at Giants decided to put the train so that the barrier comes down at the last possible minute in order to reap salty tears of the people that play on their maps. They reap these tears and they use them to season their coffee. They use them to season their food. You know, bit of salty tears. Get salty gamer tears. They do taste good, I've been told. They do taste good. So you put a little bit in your coffee. I'm not sure why you'd want salt in your coffee, but I have heard people say that they use salty tears to season their coffee. So yeah, like salted caramel, I guess. One of those weird things that some people like, and I don't think I ever will. I don't like anything in my coffee other than a bit of milk, actually. Coffee, water, milk. I used to drink sugar in mine, take sugar in mine, but I don't do that anymore. I don't like having sugar in my coffee now. Someone told me once, because I used to like have a couple spoonfuls of sugar in my coffee, and someone said to me, you can't always get sugar. Now, by the same argument, you could say you can't always get milk, but I have tried it several times, and I can never... Nothing quite matches up to full cream milk with... I always have full cream milk. I don't have skimmed milk. Well, I always do if I can. If I'm visiting somebody else, then I may not have any choice. But I like to have full cream milk in my coffee. It just tastes better. It's just altogether a nicer experience. And my coffee experience is something that I take seriously. So, someone said to me, just try for 1 week, have your coffee without sugar in it. Yes, it will taste bitter, but do it for a week. Because sometimes you can't always get sugar, and, you know, some people bring you a cup of coffee, it doesn't have sugar in it. If you're able to drink both of them, it's much better. Because, you know, I would always screw my face up with the bitter taste of the coffee. I didn't really like it. So, alright, okay, I just to humour you, I will try this. Now, I was, 17, 18, I think? I've been drinking coffee for quite a bit by that point. I've always drunk plenty of coffee. I tried it. The first day, I didn't particularly like my coffee, but I persevered with this, and by the end of the second day, yes, I still noticed the bitter taste, but it wasn't as unpleasant as the first day, and it kind of just, so I went through a week. I went 7 days, full week, like this, and it you know, just properly give this a go. So I was willing to give this a try, just to see what it was like. And he said, so what you do is you go through and you do this, and then on the last day, right, we've just finished here, you were already finished. Contract on field 3, he's done. Oh, contract is finished, and now he's actually got the last pass now that he's about to go and do. So that'll be field 3 contract done. That is done, that one's done. You over here have got a little tiny bit more to go and do, and then that one will be finished. So I did a week. Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.